Welcome to the discussion on your assignment number 2 for intermediate accounting, cash and cash equivalents. So the instruction is to click true if the statement is correct and false if otherwise. So for item number 1, cash on hand includes undeposited collection and other cash items awaiting deposit. Undeposited cash collection, ibig sabihin, ikaw pa ang may control dyan. It is in your possession. Yung other cash items awaiting deposit, it is also in your possession and control. So it is included in cash on hand. That is correct. Next, post-dated check received is considered cash. What is the nature of a post-dated check? Ang nature kasi ng post-dated check kapag ikaw ang naka-receive ay hawak mo pa lang yung cheque mismo pero hindi mo yan pwedeng i-encash or i-deposit sa yung bank account dahil hindi pa yan, yung date niyan ay hindi pa ngayon. So, hindi pwedeng i-deposit or i-encash ang isang cheque na ang date ay in the future pa lang. So, kailangan mo antayin kung kailan mag-i-start yung date na yon and then, tsaka mo pa lang siya pwedeng i-encash. So, nasa iyo na ba ang control and possession of the items of cash? No. So, the answer is false. So, lagi mong iisipin if the possession and control of the item is in you, pwede mo siya i-classify as cash. Answer for number 2 is false. Number 3, cash can be restricted and unrestricted in use. The answer is false. Cash should always be unrestricted in use. Kaya nga 'di ba, ang key terms kako lagi nating tatandaan is yung term na unrestricted in use. Dapat walang restrictions kung saan mo pwedeng gamitin yung item na yun because it is classified as cash. It is one of the requirements to be classified as cash yun. It must be unrestricted in use. Number 4, 3-year BSP treasury bill purchased 3 months before date of maturity is considered as cash. 3-year BSP treasury bill purchased 3 months before the date of maturity is considered as cash. Bakit mali yan? Because it is not considered as cash. Matatandaan mo kapag ang pinag-uusapan natin is yung purchase or acquisition date, ang tinutukoy niyan is the cash equivalent. Cash equivalent yan, yung 3-year BSP treasury bill na binili mo 3 months before the date of maturity. So it is not cash but a cash equivalent. Kaya false yung number 4. Number 5, deposits in foreign countries subject to foreign exchange restriction are included in cash. Remember, the cash, before you can include an item to cash, it must be unrestricted in use. So since yan ay subject to foreign exchange restriction, it should not be included in cash. So it is false. Number 6, if the deposit is not legally restricted as to withdrawal by the borrower because of an informal compensating balance agreement, the compensating balance is part of cash. So kung matatandaan mo yung discussion natin dito dun sa informal and not informal compensating balance agreement, yan, ang classification niyan is cash dahil siya ay hindi siya legally restricted to withdrawal by the borrower at informal yung compensating balance agreement. Kapag kasi yan ay formal ang compensating balance agreement at yung loan na ini-insure ng compensating balance is short term, it can be considered as a short-term investment. Kapag naman yun ay long-term, it is considered as non-current investment. Yung short term pala, yung kapag formal compensating balance agreement tapos ang sinisecure niyang loan is a short term loan, ang sinasabi doon ay it is a separate account title. Yun ay ang tawag doon is cash held as compensating balance, 'di ba? Tatandaan mo 'yun. Not short term investment. Cash held as compensating balance ang account title niya in the financial statements. Kapag naman long term ang sinisecure na loan, yun ay classified as non-current investment. kapag formal ang kanyang compensating balance agreement. 7, bank overdraft is allowed in the Philippines. I emphasize this. This is false because ang bank overdraft is not allowed and is not permitted in the Philippines because of the PP22, yung bouncing check law. Batas Pambansa 22, bouncing check law. Sinasabi kasi doon kapag inallow natin itong bank overdraft, ang tendency ay matatransfer lang yung liability from the original sa original creditor mapupunta yung utang, ikaw ay magkakaroon naman ng utang sa bangko. So ang tendency niyan ay magkakaroon ng mga bouncing checks. Ang tendency, mag-i-issue na lang na mag-i-issue ang mga borrower ng mga checks since i-absorb naman pala ng bank yung mga overdrafts mo. So it is not allowed in the Philippines. An undelivered or unreleased check is one that is merely drawn and recorded but not given. One that is merely drawn and recorded but not given to the payee before the end of the reporting period. This is correct. Essentially, yan na yung mismong definition ng undelivered or unreleased check. Impress fund system is the one usually followed in handling petty cash fund transactions. Yes, because we already have discussed this kung bakit ginagamit ng impress fund system more than the fluctuating fund system. So kasi mas practical yung paggamit ng impress fund system at mahirap kasi kapag fina-fluctuate mo itong petty cash fund mo, hindi mo nakikita kung magkano ang talagang nakaset up na petty cash fund balance. And since these are petty expenses, it should, dahil petty naman ang mga expenses, dapat kung kailan ka lang magre-replenish, doon mo i-recognize itong mga expenses na ito. Unlike when in fluctuating fund system na yung mga expenses ay directly ay naka-credit kaagad doon sa yung petty cash fund. Naka-charge agad doon sa yung petty cash fund. Number 10, cash short or over is only a temporary or suspense account. Yes, because it is closed at the end of the reporting period. Temporary lang siya. So, hindi mo siya makikita on your financial statements, yung audited financial statements. Number 11, the petty cash fund is money set aside to pay small expenses which cannot be paid conveniently by means of a check. This is correct. Ginagamit siya for petty expenses. Number 12, cash short or over account is a temporary or suspense account. That is true. That should be adjusted when preparing financial statements. That is true. Siya ay temporary or suspense account. At the end of the reporting period, kapag gumagawa ka na ng financial statements, dapat i-close mo rin yan sa iyong cash account. So, it should be adjusted when preparing the financial statements. If cash shortage is not material, it can be debited to miscellaneous expenses. If cash shortage is not material, it can be debited to miscellaneous expenses. Cash shortage is not material, it can be debited to miscellaneous expenses. Okay. The rule here is this is not correct because of the item miscellaneous expenses. Saan mo dapat i-debit or i-recognize yan? Short ka ng ganitong amount. Saan mo i-recognize yung short na yon? Normally, di ba, mayroong provisions doon na if the shortage is attributable to a particular person, you must set up a due from, for example, due from cashier account. So, kumbaga, magsiset up ka ng receivable or receivable account. Pero kung yan ay chargeable naman dun sa mismong entity na, it is recognized as a loss. Loss on the sale or kung ano mang classification nung loss na yon. Loss on shortage. Ganyan. So, to debit it to miscellaneous expense is incorrect. So, the answer is false. Number 14, segregation of duties for handling cash and Recording cash transaction, no one person should be in complete control of transaction. Anong sinasabi dito? Dapat daw yung pag-handle ng cash, yung paghahawak, yung custody ng mismong cash, at yung nagre-record ng cash transaction ay nakasegregate or magkahiwalay. No one person should be in complete control of transaction. Ang sinasabi dito, hindi pwede na yung nagre-record or nag-journalize ng mga cash transaction, siya rin yung may hawak ng cash because ang tendency niyan ay pwedeng, for example, pwedeng hindi siya mag-record ng collections or receipts. Then, ilalagay niya na yon sa sarili niyang bulsa. So, hindi nakasegregate kasi yung duty at ang sinasabi dito, no one person should be in complete control of the transaction. So the term is the complete control of transaction. Sa case kasi na hindi nakasegregate ang recording and handling ng mismong cash, ay wala na tayong control doon kapag hindi niya ni-record ang transaction at binulsa niya na yun. So the answer for number 14 is true. No one person should be in complete control of the transaction. Internal audit involves conducting audit at irregular intervals and cash counts by the Internal Control Department without advance notice involving tests on checking transactions and its record keeping. So this statement is correct. Ang sinasabi dito, dapat daw yung pagko-conduct ng audit, it should be irregular. It should be at a irregular interval. Bakit? Kasi kung alam nila na every Tuesday ka nagka-cash count, every at the afternoon of Monday, i-ready na nila lahat ng items. Kung mayroon man silang kinukuha doon, ibabalik na nila. Kumbaga, iaayos na nila yung records nila before na ma-audit mo pa yon. Without advance notice involving tests on checking transactions and its record keeping, dapat walang advance notice din. So yun, kumbaga, ini-specify, kumbaga, ini-explain, ini-discuss lang dito na yung internal audit should be at irregular interval and without advance notice. So is it correct? Yes, it is correct. Dahil kapag yaan ay regular interval at meron kang notice na binibigay sa mga ika-cash count mo, laging laging okay, laging intact ang collections nila. Hindi ka makakakita ng discrepancy because alam nila kung kailan ka magka-cash count. Cash is measured at face value. Kung magkano ang nasa bill, halimbawa 1,000, o di 1,000 din ang kanyang amount sa financial statement. So that is true. Cash is at face value. In order to be classified as cash equivalents, investments must be purchased 3 months before maturity. In order to be classified as cash equivalents, remember, kapag daw cash equivalents, ang lagi mong tatandaan is yung acquisition date, yung kung kailan binili. So, kung yan ay 3 months before the maturity, it can be classified as a cash equivalent. True. 18, BSP Treasury bill with only 3 months remaining before maturity can also be classified as cash equivalent even if it is purchased 1 year ago. BSP Treasury bill with only 3 months remaining before maturity can also be classified as cash equivalent even if it is purchased 1 year ago. So what is the rule on cash equivalent? Yung acquisition or purchase date. Dapat kung kailan mo yan binili, ay doon pa lang magka-count yung 3 months before maturity. Ito, this BSP Treasury bill, although ito ay magmamature na in 3 months, binili mo na yan 1 year ago pa. So, can you classify it as a cash equivalent? The answer is no. Remember the rule, acquisition or purchase date dapat ang titingnan mo before you classify it as a cash equivalent. So number 18 is false. Mali yang statement na yan. Number 19, cash subject to any restriction can be reported as cash. It is false because cash must be unrestricted in use. So, hindi pwedeng meron siyang restrictions. Number 20, I think this is the last item. Fluctuating fund system is a system where cash disbursement should be made by means of checks. This is false because ang tinutukoy dyan is yung system wherein the disbursement is through checks and the receipts and the collections are deposited intact is the impress system. So number 20 is false. So I think that ends the discussion on your assignment number 2. So later on, I will be sending the checked and submitted assignment with your final scores. Thank you.